Canada is building again. Canada's next economic era may not begin with a speech in Ottawa. It may begin with concrete poured beside a Labrador river, steel moving through a Canadian mill, a transmission line crossing hundreds of kilometers, a modular home leaving a factory, a young apprentice beginning a career on a project built to last for generations. This is the story of a country rediscovering its productive strength. This is the Great Canadian Buildout. On August 17th, Ottawa, Quebec, and Newfoundland and Labrador announced a clean energy package valued at nearly $70 billion. The plan would expand Churchill Falls, advance Gull Island, build new transmission infrastructure, and unlock major wind opportunities in Labrador. The federal government says these projects could generate 14,000 megawatts of renewable power, support 23,000 construction jobs, and contribute $31 billion to Canada's economy through the early 2040s. Those numbers are extraordinary, but the real significance is larger than one hydroelectric agreement. Canada is beginning to organize energy, infrastructure, defense, housing, critical minerals, and technology around one national objective: build more of the future here. For years, Canada possessed almost everything an industrial power could want: vast natural resources, abundant energy, skilled workers, strong universities, investment capital, world-class engineering, globally respected companies, construction expertise capable of delivering some of the most complex projects on Earth. What Canada often lacked was alignment. A mine could wait for a road. A factory could wait for electricity. A port could wait for rail capacity. A technology company could wait for computing infrastructure. A housing developer could wait for approvals while families waited for homes. The new approach attempts to connect those pieces. Canada's Major Projects Office is advancing nationally important projects and strategies representing more than $126 billion in potential investment. The portfolio includes electricity, nuclear energy, liquefied natural gas, critical minerals, ports, railways, and transportation corridors. The Defense Industrial Strategy is also attempting to turn public purchasing into Canadian productive capacity. Its goals include directing more defense contracts toward Canadian companies, expanding exports, and creating as many as 125,000 careers. This is not government attempting to replace business. It is government recognizing that business is the delivery system. Canada's utilities know how to operate enormous power networks. Its mining companies understand difficult terrain. Its engineers, manufacturers, construction firms, banks, pension funds, and technology companies already possess the expertise required to compete internationally. Behind them are thousands of smaller Canadian businesses supplying steel, software, concrete, machinery, transportation, logistics, and skilled labor. These corporations do not stand outside the national project. They are the institutions capable of turning national ambition into physical reality. The partnership must be straightforward. Government must provide clearer rules, faster decisions, dependable infrastructure, and confidence that national priorities will survive beyond one budget cycle. Business must answer with investment, innovation, apprenticeships, Canadian supply chains, and products capable of winning in global markets. Indigenous nations must participate through partnership, ownership, and long-term prosperity. Workers must receive the training and opportunity to build lasting careers. This matters because Canada's economic challenge is not simply a shortage of work. It is a shortage of capital, equipment, technology, and infrastructure supporting each hour of Canadian work. Years of weak investment have held back productivity. When productivity remains weak, wages rise more slowly. Companies become less competitive, and talented workers have fewer reasons to stay. The Great Canadian Buildout offers a path in the opposite direction. Imagine abundant Canadian electricity powering new factories and artificial intelligence infrastructure. Imagine critical minerals being processed here instead of leaving the country before most of their value is created. Imagine modern ports and railways carrying Canadian products to Europe, Asia, and the United States. Imagine Canadian steel being used in Canadian infrastructure. Imagine young Canadians entering the skilled trades because the country has enough major projects to support decades of work. Imagine newcomers helping build the infrastructure their children will inherit. That is what industrial policy looks like when it reaches ordinary life. It becomes a paycheck, an apprenticeship, a growing business, A new export contract. A family buying its first home. A community with a reason to believe its best years are still ahead. There is one test that cannot be avoided. An announcement is not a power line. A target is not a factory. A financing commitment is not a completed project. The build-out must eventually be measured in megawatts delivered, mines opened, factories expanded, ports completed, homes occupied, private dollars invested, Canadian contracts awarded, and Indigenous ownership created. But direction matters. Coordination matters. National confidence matters. For the first time in years, Ottawa, the provinces, Indigenous partners, workers in corporate Canada appear to be moving toward the same goal. Canada is no longer satisfied merely to possess what the world needs. It is preparing to build with it. The resources are here. The companies are here. The capital is here. The talent is here. Now, the mission is clear. Build the power. Build the corridors. Build the factories. Build the homes. Build the companies. Build the careers. The Great Canadian Buildout has begun.